What is up, plant people? It's Tuesday, June 30th, 2020, and we're back with a bonus episode of Planthropology. It's Vikram Baligi, your host, and I'm thrilled to be talking to you today. You might have noticed that I really like to throw bonus episodes at you, and you know what? I just enjoy doing this. I do. And so I try to stick to my normal schedule and do the normal thing, but I get tired of not talking to you, and I just really, really like delivering content to you. So here we are. We're doing another one. And that leads me into some new thoughts I've had for the show. So my original release schedule when I first started was that I would put out an episode on the first and third Tuesday of every month. Tuesday. How do you say Tuesday? So I've made a couple of notes today. This is just a quick aside. But, you know, I'm kind of shooting from the hip more than even I normally do for this episode. So you are unfortunately going to get pretty much unfiltered direct access to my dissertation-ridden, very sleepy brain, and I hope you're sitting down for this. But anyway, so I've been thinking about some new thoughts for the show. Again, I originally was going to release every first and third Tuesday, and I have kind of sort of stuck to that. But then, you know, the apocalypse or whatever's going on hit, and we got locked down, and I decided, you know what, I'm going to put up some extra content because I had already pre-recorded a bunch of stuff, and I thought it would be really nice to put some extra stuff out as y'all were stuck at home. We were all stuck at home, and maybe we still should be, but most of us are out and about doing stuff now. But and so I went to doing an episode every week, and that was great. But it kind of has gotten to be a lot. Again, I work full time, plus, and I have, you know, some side businesses. I have a family and all of that. So yeah, every week has become, you know, quite a bit. So I'm going back to my first and third Tuesday schedule for the most part. But what I've decided is if there's a fifth Tuesday in the month, like today is, I'll put out an extra episode, whether it is a bonus episode like this, where I do something unique and maybe silly, or maybe just release another episode that I've queued up. And then you'll get back-to-back episodes with the fifth Tuesday and the first Tuesday of the next month. Is that confusing enough for anyone? Long story short, if there's 5 weeks in a month, you get 3 episodes. I may even sprinkle in some other stuff every now and then, just because I can. It's my podcast. You know what? So my commitment to you is to at least do the first and third Tuesday, fifth Tuesday if it exists, and you may just get some fun bonus material as we go here and there. So a couple of things else that I'm thinking of, I'm going to start bringing some of my former guests back. Because as you've noticed, and I've gotten some comments on this, and I appreciate everyone that has left comments, emailed me feedback, messaged me, whatever else. I really, really genuinely want to know your thoughts about the show. And so I appreciate if you've done that. But one comment I've gotten is that, well, there was this really interesting thing that you and your guests discussed, and I wanted to know more about it, but we moved on, we did something else, and it's because there's so much to cover in one episode to kind of cover the life and the experience and the career of one of these incredible humans I get to talk to. So I think what I'm going to start doing is every now and then, maybe every couple of months, bringing one of my former guests back for a deep dive episode where we will pick a topic or two that they're well versed in, something that they study, that we discussed in their initial episode, and spend an hour, not quite an hour, spend our normal episode length, which is usually 45 minutes, really picking it apart and diving into the science and everything else of the thing that they do, or one thing from the episode that they do. And I think that would be a good way. So you get to meet them, hear about their lives the first time they come in, and then we really get to drill down into some of the stuff that they study and the stuff that they do when they come back. And, eventually I would love to get everyone back on. I know that doesn't necessarily work because we're continuing to make new episodes. There may be some times when I even bring a panel of 2 or 3 people that know similar stuff, that cover similar topics, and we'll all talk about a topic. I don't know. It's an evolving situation. Again, send me feedback and comments on that. I would love to hear your thoughts because, again, I really want to be doing what you want to hear. So I'll tell you a little bit more about what we're doing for today's episode here in a minute. But first, I wanted to cover a couple of things. First, thank you so much to all my guests that have given up their time to come in and talk to me, who have been so great about promoting the show and spreading it with their friends. It's just incredible. I have gotten to talk to some dear friends of mine and make some really great new ones. Just really fascinating, brilliant humans that just keep me inspired and keep me in awe of their brains and their lives and their senses of humor and everything else. It's wonderful. Thank you also to all of you out there listening. I have been blown away by just the number of you that listen to the show. Y'all, this is a nerdy plant podcast. I mean, it's pretty niche or niche. I'll have to ask Curtis and Rhett from Wild Green Memes where we came down on whether it's niche or Nietzsche or something. But it's a super specific podcast with really smart people. And y'all are listening, and it's wonderful and it's amazing. Pretty soon after this episode comes out, we'll probably hit 10,000 downloads, and we've total downloads since we started. And I launched in November, and my goal for the whole first year was if I get close to 10,000 downloads, I'm going to be really happy with that. But we're probably going to get there like this week or next week, and it's incredible, and y'all really rock. And so thank you for listening. Thank you to our Patreon patrons who give a few bucks here and there where they can, just to help support the show, pay for hosting fees, all of that. And again, anything that does not go towards the show goes back into the greenhouse here or horticulture education in some way. Something that I really appreciate is the network that I have made of just really amazingly cool people through this podcast, whether it's been on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or Discord or a dozen other places. Just some of the most interesting folks, some guests that are coming up on the show over the next couple of months, or people that, I followed through Instagram or that we connected on Twitter somehow. And I am blown away by this podcast community and by the science community and just all of you. And if it sounds like I'm gushing, it's because I am. I'm so proud to know so many of you doing incredible work. You inspire me, and I love every one of you. And also thanks to Castbox, which is the platform that I listen on. I love the Castbox app. It's just a wonderful way. I love the way that a wonderful app. I love the way they organize their podcasts. I love the recommendations they make, and I'm biased maybe, but I love the recommendations they make. They just really seem to vibe well with the podcast community. And they're really great about promoting shows. And I really appreciate CastBox putting me on the Indie Picks list. So if you go in and download the app, I'm somewhere down here on the Indie Picks list. It's got me a ton of new listeners. And it's just, and looking at some of these other shows that are on here, like it blows, like Ologies with Allie Ward, which again was one of my, I guess, big reasons for starting the show. I was inspired by her and the things that she did to start this, and to see my name and my little green logo on I'm scrolling. I know you can't see this, but I'm scrolling through the app on my phone right now, on a list with Allie Ward and Ologies. And some other cool friends I've made. Steven from the Persuade You podcast, the Controller Disconnected podcast, and 2 or 3 others. Guys, y'all are awesome. And again, thanks to Castbox for including me on this list and for just putting out a fantastic app. And thanks for all you do for this podcast community. It's because of these groups and these apps and these advocates for us that we're able to do what we do. Okay, so getting closer. I know this is more time. I'm looking at my time. It's like 9 minutes than I normally ramble at you, but that's what you get to hear this episode. Again, my unfiltered brain, and I'm sorry. I'm working on some new music for the show, and I'd really like your feedback on this. Join our Facebook group, Planthropology's Cool Plant People, so you can give me feedback on stuff. It's a fun group. There's lots of activity, lots of memes, and awesome stuff that gets posted. But I'm working on a new song for the podcast, on recording it kind of right now and over the next couple of weeks. And I think when I get it done, I'm going to post it there to see what you think. I know a lot of people have talked about how they like the Happy Together music that I use right now, and I do too, but I just thought it'd be fun to write and compose my own music for it. like to produce as much of my own content as possible. So join the Facebook group, and I will post that song there when I get it done. And you can give me some feedback on, and actually I may have a couple to post by then, but you can give me some feedback on whether you think I should keep the same or go with the new thing. All right, so this episode is called Bonus 5. Again, I like to throw bonus content at you. Review Time Extravaganza. Review Time Extravaganza. So I keep forgetting, and I know I said I was going to do this, and I did it for like 3 episodes, and I keep forgetting to read reviews on the show. And, we've gotten quite a few at this point, and I thought I would go through and I'd read some of them and thank you, on the show for your kind words and just everything that you've said, and it really means a lot to me. I cannot tell you how much it means to me that you take the time out of your day to do that. So I'm going to read some and I can't get through all of them. We don't have time really, but I'm going to get through quite a few of these, and if I miss yours, I will try my best to read it on an upcoming episode. Is this a way for me to generate more reviews from you? Yeah, kinda. So if you don't mind taking a few minutes and jumping on iTunes or Podchaser or anywhere, CastBox as well, anywhere else you can review the show, and just drop me a few words about what you think, leave a rating as well. I really appreciate that. It's good for exposure. It helps. I've been in the top 60 or so of the nature list, and just showing up on that list does help get some more visibility for the show. So if you don't mind doing that, I would appreciate it. So I'm going to read some reviews from iTunes. I'm going to read some reviews from Podchaser. And then at the end, I'm going to tell you about a little contest that I think I am going to run for the next few weeks. In between all this, I'm also going to run some promos for a few different shows. Cross promotion and working with other podcasters is absolutely the most wonderful thing, and I appreciate that my promo has been run on several shows at this point, and I'm trying to do the same. So I've got 4 promos from just different shows that I really enjoy that I'm going to share with you today. And again, they'll keep running, or new promos will keep running at the end of every episode going forward. So I guess, I don't know, I'm going to play some music at you, and then I'm going to read some reviews. So buckle yourselves up, tie your shoes, put on your hats, wear your funny ear coverings, wear a mask. Hey, wear a mask. You don't have to put it on right now, but make sure you have one when you go out. And get yourself ready for Bonus 5, the Review Time Extravaganza of the Planthropology Podcast. Alrighty, so I'm going to kick this off with some reviews from iTunes. And I'll just read a few. I'm going to pick 5 or 6. I don't know. Most of them are pretty short. But I will shout the name out of the person who left the review. Of course, I don't know who most of these people are. I'm going to try not to read some of the ones that have been on previous episodes. But if I do, bonus for you. And again, I'll read some more later, future episodes. Then I will play a few promos for you, and then I'll probably read a few more reviews from Podchaser, play a couple more promos, and then tell you about a contest where you can win some stuff and some things and some stuff and things from me. So let's do the thing. Okay, so I'm just going to start with the most recent, and this is by PDS Kirk. Now, Kirk is one of the hosts of the podcast Discovery Show. They actually did an episode of Planthropology. It was awesome. You should go listen to it. He said, "Plant person here, shouting out to all the other plant people to start listening to this show. Doesn't matter if you have 1 earth box in your backyard or 10,000 acres. It's a lot of acres. If you enjoy plants, you will enjoy this show." Kirk, I appreciate it. That's very nice. Another review by another great podcast you should be listening to, The Wildlife. I discovered this show and Vikram via Twitter, and I am so happy that I did. Man, I'm happy as well. We've gotten to be, friends kind of over the past little bit. And podcast Twitter, if you didn't know, I've talked about this before, is super strong. So if you're not following all these shows on Twitter, you need to be as well. So thanks, Devin. I appreciate it. Another one from BDJSJANZ. I thought about trying to pronounce that. I don't know if it's supposed to be pronounced or not, so I'm not going to. The title is Great for Experts and Novices Alike. I've enjoyed listening to this during my commute so much. It's casual, entertaining, and easy to follow. But I learned so much from each episode. It's also great to hear about everyone's career path. As a biologist early in my career, it is so helpful to hear about all the different avenues in this field. And that's by Danielle. Oh, Danielle is in our Facebook group. So again, go join Planthropology's cool plant people and meet Danielle and some other wonderful people. Here's one by Thomas Couch. Love the energy and motivation. Keep it up. Can't wait to hear more. Okay, I'm going to keep scrolling. I'm doing this again. This is unfiltered from my brain case to your ear holes. I may have read this one before, but I'm going to read it again just for fun. It's called Fun and Informative by An Actual Bug. An actual bug. I hope this is an actual bug. I hope it's a true bug. I'm hoping for a Harlequin beetle. A great podcast to listen to if you enjoy expanding your knowledge in a laid-back way. It's an excellent resource for learning about plants and science while also giving interesting information on the local community in Texas Tech. Definitely give it a listen. Here's one by Seriously Alan for more than just plant people. I was expecting a very nerdy, over-the-top podcast. Alan, that's what I was going for. Man, I need to up my nerd game. But I was expecting a very nerdy over-the-top podcast, but the host, Vikram, is very personal with his guests. The show is presented just like a couple of people having a chat over a cup of coffee. Can't wait to see how the show develops. Side note, is it possible to get a sticker bundle that includes a Water is My Jam or Digging Graves Taught Me About Soil? Also, heck yes, working on stickers coming soon. Here's one by Jessica 0501. Absolutely. Plant people are the best people. I've learned so much from these conversations. What a diverse and unique range of people to tell stories. Thanks, Vikram, for creating this great vehicle for spreading the plant love. That is what I do. That is my thing. I spread the plant love. Here's one from Ransom Dan, which is actually a really cool name. I dig that a lot. Great learning podcast. I love this podcast. It is great hearing from a variety of stories and the passion of plant people. Definitely hit the subscribe button. I agree. Hit that subscribe button and listen some more. How about one more? I'll read one more from here, and then we'll listen to some promos for some other great shows, and then we'll come back. I'm still here. I'm reading. I'm trying to pick one. Here's one by CDC Austin. Well-made podcast with interesting conversations. Short and sweet, to the point. I like it. Okay, so here are a couple of podcast promos coming at you. The first one is for a wonderful audio drama called Oz 9, which I've really gotten into lately. The second one you'll hear is from the Sips, Suds, and Smokes podcast, and my trailer was recently featured on their show, so go check that out. It's about whiskey, smoked meat, beer, all kinds of cool things that you will like. You should go listen to it. And then the third you'll hear now is from the Persuade You podcast, where my friend Steven tells you about things that you should be listening to and things that you should love. Prepare your ear holes. Ready, go.
If you enjoy space adventures featuring brave and competent astronauts.
Can you give me a countdown to be ready? 3, 2...
If you enjoy podcasts that are culturally sensitive.
I've been labeling stuff aboard the ship with Post-its, so she can learn our language.
I speak English, you bloody...
If you enjoy shows with sophisticated humor.
Well, that's just rude.
It's her spacesuit.
Then you may not want to listen to Oz 9. But if you simply enjoy giggling.
Oh, you Anglais, so snooty about all the everythings.
Oz 9 may be the show for you. Get it wherever you find the other shows you like to put in your ears. That title is spelled OZ-numeral 9. You could certainly do worse.
Hey, it's good old boy Mike.
This is good old boy Dave.
From Sips, Suds, and Smokes. Sips, Suds, and Smokes covers wine, tea, coffee, distilled spirits, whiskey, scotch, beer, cigars.
People whose first name starts with Q.
Bad fake British accents.
And we always take time to make fun of the people of Alabama.
Banned once again.
It's a 1-hour episode that's mildly entertaining for about 22 minutes.
I think mildly would be a vast improvement.
Well, we do have the only beer show with the Holy Man. We talk about these products and rate them with our unique rating system, like our Suds 5 rating. Do you really have something better to do with your life for an hour than actually listen to this show?
Well, don't make them think about it.
Well, join us on this radio station, podcast network, or via our Android app.
Hello, welcome to Persuade You, the podcast where I, Steven, recommend to you, the listener, stuff and things that I think are worth your time in checking out. Hi, this is the new trailer that I will be putting out for the show. I wanted to make sure that I updated everything with the things I've gone over. So we started off with Harry Potter. The latest episode that you will get to hear tomorrow goes over Avatar: The Last Airbender. I've done XKCD. I've done some more serious topics. Man, I've run the gamut, and I have no intention of stopping anytime soon. Episodes are short and sweet, roughly 20 minutes, unless the topics require more attention or I have a guest on. Now, recommending things is a little hard, you might be saying to yourself, hypothetical listener. You may be thinking, well, how do you know that I'm going to like it? Well, that's the whole premise of the show. I have no idea if you're going to like it or not. I think giving people recommendations, there are some where you can just say, hey, this is something that you need to look into, and here's why. That is my show. Harry Potter is a really easy recommendation to start off everything. A lot of people are like, oh yeah, Harry Potter. Yeah, I know of it. Yeah, but how many of those people do you think have ever listened to Harry Potter, the audiobooks version? How many people do you know that know of the Dresden Files, which is like Harry Potter but for adults, and it also touches on mythology and Greek mythology and Norse mythology, and there are so many great things about all of the things that I talk about, and I think 20 minutes out of your day, easy to crank out, especially if you have kids like I do. When it comes to listening to hours and hours of content, how do you filter through all of that? How do you know which things are worth your time? Enter my podcast. So episodes come out every Monday morning, and I'll see you then. Okay, bye.
Wow, weren't those great? I thought they were great. I did want to point out though that all the promos I put into these episodes are things that I actually listen to or have listened to. I'm not just recommending things for the sake of recommending them. There's a long list of promos and podcasts that, cross promote, but I promise I will only ever give you a promo or a recommendation for something that I actually enjoy and that I would actually listen to. So I'm not just sending you down a dark path on your own without guidance or companionship, whatever. I'm just talking. Guys, I'm tired. It happens. Okay, so moving on to Podchaser. There's a few here that I will read through. Allison W. 2001 says, great podcast. Lots of interesting guests and topics. Really enjoy listening. Here's Kirk again from the Podcast Discovery Show. We are plant people, and we loved listening and then discussing the show. Love the style of the show and how they look at horticulture through the lens of anthropology. Keep up the great work. Man, thanks for covering your bases. Here's one from Matt Watson. Just finished listening to the episode with Ellen Weatherford from Just the Zoo of Us, and it was such a joyous and educational chat. Vikram is a good host as he keeps the show flowing, and Ellen is an excellent guest. Both podcasters are incredibly knowledgeable with a clear passion for each of their subject areas. It was also great to hear them weigh in on being podcasters, having great perspectives to offer. I learned a lot about relationships between plants and animals and can't wait to listen to more episodes of Planthropology, quality podcast name of By the Way. Thanks so much. And actually, this next one is from Ellen Weatherford, and you'll actually hear a promo for her show, Just the Zoo of Us, in just a couple of minutes. So Ellen says, Planthropology has inspired an interest in the plant kingdom for me. Vikram is a great host, and the show is fascinating. I've always mistakenly assumed plants were boring, and have enjoyed being thoroughly proven wrong by this very cool podcast. Ellen has become such a good friend, and I really appreciate her kind words. Texas Olive Guy says, I'm loving it. The perfect amounts of blend, the perfect Sorry. The perfect amounts and blend of witty, nerdy, funny, and intelligent. Laid back, yet educational. Terrific. That is exactly the brand I'm trying to build. And the final one is Flower Child 98. I'm a horticulture major at TTU and a nerd that loves a good podcast. Now, TTU is Texas Tech, by the way. I enjoyed listening and am excited to be adding it to my routine. Hashtag Crazy Plant Lady. Well, Flower Child 98, the Crazy Plant Lady, you're in good company here at the Planthropology Podcast. Have I mentioned our Facebook group with other crazy plant people or very cool plant people? In fact, Planthropology's cool plant people. Do the thing. Go join the group. Okay, so 2 more promos for you. The first one, like I mentioned, is from Just the Zoo of Us, which is one of my favorite shows. And then the second is from Cast Junkie, which is a great podcast that tells you about podcasts that you should be listening to. So here we go. Listen to these and stick around for just a couple more minutes so I can tell you about a little contest I'm going to run and how you can win some free stuff. Okay, here goes.
Hey there, new friends. This is Ellen Weatherford. Do you like animals? Do you enjoy arbitrarily rating things out of 10? Can you tolerate puns? If so, join me and my husband Christian over at Just the Zoo of Us for a weekly review of your favorite animal species. Just the Zoo of Us is available on Spotify, iTunes, and other podcast apps. You can find us at anchor.fm/justthezooofus. See you soon.
Hello, and I am Zach, host of Podcast Junkie. Podcast Junkie is a tool for podcast listeners of all genres who are searching for their next favorite show. I review a different podcast series or season each week, helping discerning listeners like you discover new shows and connect with their creators. Each episode lasts between 4 to 15 minutes and gives you, the listener, a quick overview of the week's selection, what to expect from this show, and why I think you should add it to your queue. I'll even toss in a bite-sized snippet from an episode or even their trailer. Along with doing these weekly reviews to help you get in touch with a new podcast, I also support indie podcasts through my merch sales and Patreon contributions. Find out more about that and myself over on Twitter at CastJunkie or over at CastJunkie.com. Thanks for tuning in, and I hope I can help you find your next favorite binge.
Okie dokie. Let's talk about winning stuff. So, since this episode is about reviews, I thought I'd make this contest also about reviews. So I was looking at my iTunes ratings and reviews, and one person who I've named, I believe, 1-star Jim, left me a 1-star rating with no attached review. I don't know why. Maybe they just don't like happy, fun plant stuff. But I kind of want a backstory to go with this. So I've started using the hashtag bad review backstories on Twitter. And I want you to come up with the best story you can for this 1-star rating that has no review. I'm going to run this contest until July 21st when episode 22 comes out. I'll announce the winner on that episode. So actually, let's end it July 20th so I have time to record and tell you who's the winner. So you can get me your 1-star story however you want. You can send it to me on Facebook. You can put it in the group. You could write it up and use bad rating backstories on Twitter if you want. You can send me an audio message. You can get it to me however you prefer. And I will read that story on episode 22, and I'm going to send you some stuff. You'll get some stickers. You'll get probably a mug. You may get some other things that I have not come up with yet. I don't know. I have no idea, but I'll send you a box of things. So if you want to play, come up with a backstory for this 1-star rating that does not have an attached review, and I will go through my favorites, and I'll pick my favorite, and that person wins some stuff. Also, if you will leave me a rating and review on either iTunes or Podchaser, I will send you a thank you card and some stickers for free. Just leave the rating, leave the review, take a screenshot, and send it to me. Now, I know there are several of you still waiting for your stickers and your cards from the last time and from the past few weeks. I apologize because I stuck them in a mailbox and I did not put stamps on them. So I have a stack of like 12 thank you cards with stickers that I didn't put stamps on because I'm an idiot. So I apologize if you have not gotten your stuff yet. You will. I'm, as soon as I can get to the post office, going to send those back out. But hey, you know what? As always, I so much appreciate you listening. You are the very coolest humans. I really have enjoyed doing this show, and there's so much more good stuff to come. So thanks for listening. Next week, you'll hear an episode all about trees with my friend John Motzinger from the Texas A&M Forest Service. Keep being cool, keep listening, and I will talk to you very soon.